Hey, this is Luke with Sawstrong. Have Tony here, and we're gonna do a skip casting contest on distance. We have a bunch of different lures. So Tony, explain exactly what we're testing here.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a variety of lures here that we're gonna test out, different sizes, different profiles, different shapes, and we have them rigged up pretty much the same. We're gonna be using a 4/0 1/8 ounce Haas Helix hook for our larger 4.5 to 5 inch lures. We have our 5-inch Mulligan bomber here.
The brand new one.
Yep.
Not even released yet as of today.
So coming soon. Then we have our Prawn USA. This is the original size. And again, these are on a 4/0 1/8 ounce Haas Helix hook. Then we have our smaller lures. We have our Prawn Jr. That's actually in the Optimus lime color. Then we have our Tweaker, and this is in New Penny. And then our 4-inch Mulligan. And again, these lures here, the smaller lures, they're going to be rigged up on a 3/0 1/8 ounce hook. So same weight hook, just a little bigger hook. That way it matches the lure size.
All right, so we have the assembly all set up. We have the poles. They're all 5 feet apart. So Tony's goal, he's going to stand over here to this side. His goal is to land close to this first one. If it's if it's beyond, if it's short or long, we'll obviously change the distance. But we'll be able to see if it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 or more feet. We have it all set up. Tony's gonna get back to, he has a line over there right next to his little friend over there. That bird has been trying to eat our lures when we're testing, but Tony's gonna stand in that spot and let's see how the skips go. What are you gonna start with, Tony?
First we have the Prawn Jr. rigged up on a 3/0 1/8 ounce Haas Helix hook.
Nice.
And we're gonna, like we said earlier, we're gonna use the same hook for the same size lures. That way it's consistent. And my starting point over there is about 40 feet from the first post. And we're gonna try to land that lure anywhere close to this first post.
All right, very good cast. That was about maybe 3 feet in front of the first one. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and almost got to 4. So that was just over 15 feet. Good skip. Nice, that was perfect. Landed right on the money, and then we got down to right about here. Yeah, almost got to the 4th piling. So that was impressive. So basically I have a 3 and 4 piling average right now. We're gonna do three casts for each lure. Dang, that one had another one too. That one started a little bit late, but that was about 5 feet over. So that went 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was more about 3 if we factor in the starting distance. So we'll say that was an average of about a 3 gap, which is about 15 feet. So 15 feet for the Prawn Jr.
Next lure up, we have our 4-inch Mulligan rigged on that same 3/0 1/8 ounce Haas Helix hook.
Nice cast. So that one landed basically right on the money, and it went all the way down. Yeah, move it a little bit. Oh, it went beyond. So it's right down there. So that went past the entire assembly. That was impressive. That was over a 25-foot skip. So that one landed probably 5 feet short, and that got all the way to the 4th one. So that, again, that was another 25-ish feet. That was a perfect landing. That was actually about 4 feet short of the starting point, and we got all the way down. Oh yeah, so it was right there. So it was basically in between the 3rd and 4th. So again, that was almost a 25-foot average.
Now next up, we're actually going to throw our 2.0 Paddletail into the mix. This is a 3.5 inch Paddletail, and again, rigged up on that same 3/0 1/8 ounce Haas Helix hook.
Okay, so that landed at the second one. We'll go ahead and count that. So it basically went 1, 2, and 2.5 pilings down. So that was noticeably shorter than the Mulligan. That's probably 13 feet, 12, 13 feet. All right, that was another one. That landed right on the money. And that one went 1, 2, just over 2 pilings worth. So that was maybe 12 feet. So we have about a 12.5-foot average. All right, so that one landed a little bit before the second piling, and it basically went 1, and give it a twitch. Okay, so basically went 1 and 3/4 distance. So that was a little bit under 10 feet. So yeah, on average, this one is noticeably skipping less than the others.
Now next up is our Tweaker, which is a stick style bait, and again we have it rigged up on the same 3/0 1/8 ounce Haas Helix hook.
All right, that was impressive. That actually landed about probably 3 feet in front of the first piling, And it went down 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, so it went past the fourth one. So that was probably a 23-foot skip in total. All right, so that one landed right at the second one. So that went 1, 2, 3, and then almost 4. So that was 3.5. So that was about 18 feet. Very nice cast. That landed probably, I'd say, 3 feet short of the first one, and then it went 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there it is. It went, yeah, a little over 3, so that was probably about 18 footer. So that on average was more like 20. That was close to the Mulligan.
So now we're moving on to our bigger lures. This is the Prawn USA, and we have it rigged on a 1/8 ounce hook, so the same weight hook, but a little bigger in that 4/0 size so that it matches the lure size.
All right, so that one landed right on the money, right at the first one. It went 1, 2, 3, and then it got down to about the fourth. So very impressive. Yeah, that was basically right at 20 feet. Another perfect land. That landed just a little bit before the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give it a twitch. It went a little bit beyond the 5. Yeah, so that was a solid cast. That was over 20 feet for sure, closer to 25. All right, so that one hit a little bit early. It was probably 3 feet short. You could hear it catch a lot of the water there. So 1, 2, 3, and it went just beyond 3. So that was still about a 20-foot skip, but you could tell that was noticeably more water disturbance. So I think maybe the eyes caught. So that was 3. So yeah, that was on average. That was over 20. Very impressive.
So last up is the 5-inch version of the Mulligan. This is our new Paddletail we have coming out. If it's not already available, be sure to check at fishstrong.com for when it releases. But it's basically the Mulligan profile, but larger version, 5-inch version. And again, we have it on the 4/0 1/8 ounce Haas Helix hook.
All right, so that one landed about 4 feet short and still went through the entire assembly. Is right there. So that was probably about a 28 to 30 foot skip there. Oh my gosh, that one started about maybe 7 feet in front of it, and it went at least 10 feet beyond the last one. Yeah, so there's the last one. I'm still walking there. I can see him retrieving the lure. That was about a 35-foot skip. That was by far the longest skip we've seen yet. All right, final. So that one started a little bit short, and I could hear it catch the water. The tail might have caught it a little bit, but it still went beyond the entire assembly. Oh yeah, so it went there. It is right there. It went just beyond the 25-foot range. So that was still close to 30, even though the tail caught the water. Very impressive.
So it's pretty interesting, but it was pretty straightforward as to what was working best. You can see that our smaller lures were pretty much at the bottom of the totem pole. They weren't skipping as far than the lures that were larger and had more mass. As you can see, the biggest lure that had the most mass and the most weight was that Mulligan, that 5-inch Mulligan, and that beat it. But the Prawn wasn't too far behind, the Prawn USA. It skipped really well. Yeah, and they were close too. So basically, like the 3.5-inch lures were pretty close, the 4-inch lures were pretty close, and then these two won. This one was the clear winner, but that's 5 inches. That's just a whole lot bigger. Yep. So yeah, I'd say when you're gonna choose a lure for skipping, look for lures that have mass and the least amount of appendages as possible. Yep. I think that's the core lesson. Yeah, and if you were to choose one out of all of these right here for pretty much year-round fishing, I would go with somewhere in this middle range, because that's more of a natural profile. It's a nice bite-sized profile for fish. When you get into this larger range, this is going to be more seasonal, but when you're in this area, you can catch more fish with that size lure pretty much all year long in various conditions. So if I had to choose, even though these won the distance, I would go with either the Tweaker or the Mulligan. Now, if you need any of these lures, if you want to try out any of these lures, we do have them at fishstrong.com. That's the only place you can get them. And keep in mind, if you're a member, you do get a nice discount on all tackle and gear. So be sure to take advantage of that. So if you have any questions or comments about this video, or any feedback you'd like to share when you're out there skipping lures, do you have a favorite lure you like to skip that skips really well? Definitely let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.